If you're buying a house in Surrey, well, there's some things that you need to know, and today's video is going to give you a lot of things to consider so you make the right decision. In this video, we are going to rapid fire some things that I want you to consider before you buy your next house in Surrey, which include things like the trends of what is happening, the prices in the various neighborhoods, and what you can expect to pay for an average home in each area, what's going on with the development of the city, and also furthermore, what's going on with the city growth. We're going to hit a few more tips as we go through this video as well, and I'll make sure that you know exactly where you can find the resources to do some of this homework for yourself, whether you're watching this on the day that it was filmed or you're watching it later on down the road. Either way, you're going to come out of watching this video better prepared to buy your next home in Surrey. Also, don't forget to hang around to the end because I'm going to let you know which neighborhood in Surrey has the best and biggest opportunity, as well as some of the best home prices available. My name is Darren, team lead with the German group with McDonald Realty in Surrey, British Columbia. This channel is dedicated to providing expert tips, market insights, and real estate advice to help home buyers, home sellers, and homeowners. If you find the information in today's video useful, please consider subscribing to our channel. This will make sure that you're on the front line for everything you need to know, whether you're a home buyer, home seller, or homeowner, and also helps other people find this content as well. So thank you in advance. All right, let's get this out of the way. Buying a home is a ton of work, and oftentimes it can be relatively confusing. Of course, you want a trusted guide to help you through this process, and a little bit more on that later. Yet, not only do you want this trusted guide to help assist you through the process, well, you probably want to do a little bit of this homework yourself, so you're not so reliant on someone else, and you know kind of what you're getting into when you're buying a home. You don't want to be super overly reliant on anybody, right? I want you to imagine this for a moment. Imagine you are somebody moving to Surrey from a new city in, let's say, another part of Canada. Here's the absolute worst thing that could happen to you. You find a home that you fall in love with because it's pretty, but you severely overpay for it. Not only did you overpay for it, but you also picked the absolute worst community for your needs or even just for your expectations. Furthermore, you regret buying the home and you consider selling it. You got it wrong. You don't want it anymore and you want to try and get it right on the next one. Well, the problem with that, selling a home, it can be expensive. Our tagline right on the homepage of our website is you've only got one chance to either buy or sell your next home, so let's get it right. You don't want to have that scenario play out for you, so let's dive into the things that I think you need to know to make sure you buy that next home with confidence. Starting with trends, I want to talk about something called the Home Price Index, which sounds incredibly boring. Sorry, not home price index. I meant to say sales to active ratio. Those are two very different things. So for the purposes of this video, we're talking about the sales to active ratio graph. Basically a tool that realtors have available, which lets us know exactly how many homes are available for sale in a particular market for a particular type of home, type or style of home, and how many people are actually buying them. Here's the reason this is important. This will give you an idea of how in demand the style, type, and location of a home is when you are considering purchasing it, and also give you an idea of how much leverage you may have against the seller. An example of this would be 1 out of 10 homes going to the market each month selling. In this example, you as the buyer would have incredible amounts of leverage and be able likely to negotiate a really great deal on a home because it's challenging for homes to sell in that particular example. Whereas the opposite may be that there is 4 for every 5 homes that are available selling. Well, that's a seller's market, meaning the seller has a lot more leverage than you as the buyer, and you might need to act differently in terms of what you structure your offer with as well as what you offer in your price. Now, there's also a balanced market, which there's no real advantage to either party. However, knowing these trends before you start looking for a home and before you start putting offers in on homes is really going to make a difference, not only on your success, but also how much money you're going to be able to negotiate off of that listing when you make an offer on it. Furthermore, it's also going to give you an idea of where prices are likely headed. The longer a market stays in buyer's market territory, the better the chances are that the prices are going to continue to come down. The opposite of this is where you're in a seller's market territory where the bidding and competition can be fierce, which means that prices are likely going up. So you're going to want to have this information far in advance before you make any decisions on the home that you want to buy. This will give you an idea of what is happening with the trends in the neighborhood. I've pinned a few links in the comments of this video, and one of the links that I pinned in there is the sales to active ratio graph, which is actually going to be active and will remain active for the next 12 months from the date that this video is published. This will be for the entire city of Surrey. However, you'll be able to see what percentage of detached homes are available versus how many are actually selling in a given month. You will want a little insight as to how that affects home prices and your ability to negotiate, but this will give you an idea of how popular homes are at that particular moment. So check it out. Now that you've got an idea of what's happening with trends in the neighborhood, you probably want to know what's going on with prices of detached homes as well. Surrey is full of different pockets, but for the purposes of this video, we're going to cover the 6 main pockets and what the prices are doing in each of those. Those 6 main pockets include the neighborhoods of Guildford, Cloverdale, South Surrey, and White Rock's kind of included in that, but South Surrey, White Rock, Fleetwood, Newton, and Whalley. Worth mentioning, Newton's quite big. So there's actually an East Newton and a West Newton that I'm going to share with you. So you have a better idea of what's happening in both of those kind of divided up areas rather than everything as a whole. Before I jump into the prices, if you're curious about the city of Surrey generally, the prices maybe don't matter quite as much. We did film a really great video on our favorite areas of Surrey for specific things. This means things like the best area for transportation needs, the best area to access shopping, the best areas for parks, the best area for post-secondary education, the best areas for raising a family. This video is also pinned in the links in the comments and is aptly titled Moving to Surrey. So check it out if you're a little more curious and wanting to learn a little bit more about the area. We of course post a lot of content on this channel about Surrey in general. So check that video out. I think it'll be helpful. Back to the prices now, starting with Guildford. Detached homes in Guildford came in at $1,354,200. South Surrey White Rock came in at $1,950,800. West Newton came in at $1,364,500. And East Newton came in at $1,570,700. Fleetwood is in at $1,529,500. Cloverdale at $1,472,200. And lastly, Whalley at $1,463,300. Now, these are just the benchmark prices in the areas, or I guess you could kind of consider them maybe the averages, but those are really the prices and or averages as of the time of filming this video. So that gives you an idea of where your money will go in different neighborhoods. Speaking of money as well, also pinned in the comments is a document we created about government incentives that are available. These incentives are sometimes hard to find, and they are offered by provincial, they're offered by federal governments, and you don't want them to be buried, so you don't get to take advantage of basically the free money that's available for you to either get back or to save when you buy a home. We just added a new benefit to this document recently, so you can collect that and download that in the pinned comment below as well. Should I stop talking about the pinned comment yet? Maybe. Okay, let's move on. But if you want the document, you should download it because it's pretty good. Moving on to development. Why is development important when you're buying a house in Surrey? Well, the reason development is important is because Surrey is a rapidly growing city, one of the fastest growing cities, in fact, in Canada. And if you're going to buy a home, you probably want a little bit of assurance as to what that neighborhood might look like in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, depending on how long you're planning on being in that next home. Most people that buy a detached home end up being in it longer than they probably plan to, whereas people that buy townhomes and condos tend to move out a little bit sooner, usually more so because of space restraints. The estimated population of the city of Surrey in the end of 2022 was roughly 603,000 people. Now, fast forward into the future by about 25 years, and you're going to see that population growth multiply, going up to almost 842,000 people. This is a difference of almost 240,000 people over the next 25 years. With new additions coming to the area that are really going to affect the mobility of the residents of Surrey, and this, as an easy example, is the Surrey to Langley SkyTrain extension that's coming and to be completed by 2028. You want to know where this stuff is happening. So if you buy a home, as an example, and it has a beautiful forested backyard, you probably want to have an idea if that forested backyard may one day turn into a sea of townhomes or condominiums. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but as a homeowner or a home buyer, you deserve to know that. For the purposes of this video, it is far too much to discuss all of the development that is either occurring right now in the city of Surrey or coming to the city of Surrey. However, in the pinned comment below, I know I'm getting a little cheeky here, you're going to find access to the tool that we use to research development called Cosmos, which stands for City of Surrey Online Mapping System. This is a really great tool that the city of Surrey has made available, and it's really quite easy to find out what development applications are actually happening currently and which ones have been applied for. You can also get things like the zoning quite easily, and you'll also find links on the City of Surrey's website to the official community plan. This official community plan is going to give you a really good deep dive into what is happening with some of the city centers that I mentioned earlier in the city. The last factor that I really want you to consider prior to you buying your next home in the city of Surrey is just what's really happening with the growth of the city. And this is less so about what's coming. We talked about 240,000 people coming in the next 25 years, which is obviously a lot, but I want you to think a little more selfishly about what your needs are for your family and yourself. Do you have needs for specific schools or location or proximity to schools? Do you have transportation needs because maybe you commute out of town or your job is not located anywhere near where your home might be? So do you have to use public transportation to get there? There's other things to consider about where your family might be located that doesn't live in your direct home. You know, mom and dad, do they live in North Vancouver? All sorts of things to consider that you're going to want to have a good think about as you decide and do your homework on which community is going to be best for you to buy your next home in. Again, any zoning information, development permits, and the official community plan are really going to help you understand what's going on a little better with these specific communities before you decide to pull the trigger on anything. So you've got some really important things to consider, and I've given you some resources in this video for you to do some more homework to make sure that you get exactly what you're looking for when you're relocating or buying a home in my beautiful city of Surrey, British Columbia. Now, a little bit of a shameless plug here, and not necessarily towards myself. I appreciate your watching this video. If you need a real estate professional and you need an excellent one, we would love for you to get in contact with us. Of course, you can book time to speak with us in the description. We've got a link to our calendar. Whether you're buying or selling, we're happy to help you and see what we can do to help you out. But you also need to find a great, incredible, good real estate professional who's going to be able to help you navigate this journey as well and is very familiar with the city of Surrey. Whether it is us on the German group with McDonald Realty helping you do this or somebody else, the key is you need somebody excellent. We did a video on this about how to find an absolutely incredible realtor called Good Realtor Near Me. Again, linked in the pinned comment where you can see the things that we believe to be the most important when you select a realtor who's going to represent the purchase of likely one of the biggest assets you ever buy. You do not want to miss that video, so check it out. To wrap this up in a tidy little bow, do your homework. Get ultra confident in your decision and then make a great decision to buy your next home in Surrey. If you're somebody that lives in this beautiful city, I'd love you to comment below and let us know what are your favorite things about living in the area. What should people moving from out of town know about Surrey? If you're somebody that's moving in from out of town into this area, we would love to know why. What was it about Surrey that attracts you and is attracting you to this area? Leave your comment below, and while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe so you do not miss out on any of the incredible videos we're releasing on a regular basis. Hey, look, I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing just now, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers.